What's the difference between love and obsession? I don't know, but I know I want you. And judging by your facial expression, oh, I think maybe you might want me too. What's the difference between love and obsession? I can never tell them apart. And judging by the way that I'm guessing, there's a missing piece inside of my heart. Hi. Hello. And welcome back to my podcast. Now, what was I talking about? My name is V Noir, and this week I'm talking about Lurker. And I was just kind of singing the beginning. It's not the beginning. I was kind of singing some of the original song written for this movie, Love and Obsession, performed by Archie Mag Magdwa, who's playing this in who's playing a character named Oliver, who is a musician in the movie. And there was like a lot of original songs. Honestly, there was a lot of like music production. Like it was scored fully by Kenny Beats, who has done music for Finn Staples, Joji, Denzel Curry, Zach Fox, um, stuff like that. It is the directorial debut and movie writing debut, because he's done writing before, of Alex Russell. And the person who did the cinematography for this, Pat Scola, he has a bunch of experience shooting music videos. Specifically, a notable one that I was like, oh my God, I love that video so much. Alt J's Breeze Blocks, and I'm like, "Oh my God, I that video, I love it." And he has done the cinematography for movies, notably Sing Sing, recently A Quiet Place Day One, and also Pig, which is like that more serious Nicolas Cage movie that came out a few years ago, where he has a truffle pig, and that's how he makes a lot of his money. And then the pig gets kidnapped or pig napped, I guess. And I gotta hate that I didn't know. Honestly, I didn't really know that much about truffle mushrooms, but the fact that Stardew Valley, when you get pigs, you unlock pigs, they dig up truffles. And that's how I learned about how those are found, because there's just like a whole pig that can sniff them out and get them. Um, but it's just the animation in Stardew Valley is so cute when it does it. God, I haven't played that game in forever. I kind of want to. It's one of those games that I need to stream, because I'm like I haven't played in so long, and I do want to do a modded out version of it on my computer, because I'm like, I originally got it on the Switch, and then I also got it on my tablet, and now I'm like, I guess I got to get it on my computer now, because I want to be in a throuple with, I forgot the character's name. Um Krobus. There we go. I was like, how could I forget Krobus? I'm like, I love Krobus so much. He's so cute. I need a Krobus plushie. I wanted to be in a throuple with Probus and Sebastian, maybe? I don't remember. I know in my like Switch playthrough, Emily is someone that I'm very close to being married to, but I don't know if I want to be married to her. She's doing like a weird crystal dance. I was shooketh. No. But I don't know. I love Krobus so much. But yeah, you can't date him or anything. He just sells stuff, or he sells you stuff. And I'm like, no, but I want him to live with me, not in this dark dungeon cave. I mean, he probably prefers that, but he deserves a home. Maybe it was Elliot. I just like long-haired men in general. Oh, I was like, what am I talking about? So yeah, let's go back to Lurker. It came out this year. It is about a retail employee that infiltrates the inner circle of an artist on the verge of stardom. As he gets closer to the budding music star, access and proximity become a matter of life and death, which that's pretty dramatic. And I mean, it does get kind of life and deathy a little bit. Um, but yeah, Lurker, Lurker, Lurker. I saw one trailer and I was like, sold. I'm done. I have to see this. Thankfully, my roommate reminded me of it. And we got to see it in a theater before it was out of theaters because unfortunately it wasn't in theaters for that long, and I hate that. But the distribution is Mubi. So if I'm assuming they're going to just have it on their streaming platform. I'm like, God damn it, do I need to get a movie subscription? I'm like, if I get rid of everything else, especially Hulu when they are fully Disney, um, and honestly, I could just get rid of my Hulu right now because the only thing I was really watching on there was Will Trent, and I haven't really used it. And I'm like, I was using Hulu to essentially watch TV, like regular TV, not even cable television. Like this should be on ABC or NBC or whatever. And so I'm like, I'm kind of leaning towards just getting an antenna at this point because like those don't cost that much. I don't like that it's no longer bunny ears. I'm like, I'm so used to the ears. I want to be able to adjust the ears. But nope, not that anymore. So, yes. But yeah, getting back into Lurker, let's see. The stars are we have the Lurker, Matthew Morning. He is played by Theodore Pellerin. And my God, the way this man was acting, I was like, he's so creepy. He's killing me. He's creepy. He's playing a really good creepy. He has really creepy moments, really awkward moments. And I need to see him in something else because he has this face where like I could see him do really well as in like a romantic comedy or something where he's playing this sort of like not pathetic fully, but just like oh my god, that just sounded like I was saying he has a face that looks pathetic. But I think he could play like a really good like shy character who's kind of lovable and it's like, oh, he's so awkward in this and oh, so creepy. But he is the lurker himself. And let's see, there is Oliver, who is the musician, who's kind of like an indie musician, and he's like about to pop off, more or less. He's played by Archie Mad Madqui. And recognize Archie from Saltburn. I'm like, even just like when I initially watched the trailer, I was like, oh shit, that's the boy from Saltburn. And I'm like, he looks so much older in this. Like, is he 25? This man is 30, first of all. And somehow he was giving like 24 and 25 in Saltburn. And I'm like, it came out last year, I believe. Um, let's see. Oh, it came out in 2023. But either way, I'm like, that was 2 years ago. And somehow this I was like he did really well playing a character that seemed young and he was supposed to be like early college age at that point and I'm like that was 2 years ago. And I don't know, I guess it's something about like slouching and not being like that confident that adds to youth, I guess, because I'm like oh, yeah, like, especially if you're tall, because I'm not that tall, like, I'm 5'10", 5'11" or whatever, but growing up femme and being essentially like a tall girl who, didn't wanna be noticed, it's like I slouched a lot, but it was the slouching definitely came from me not wanting to be noticed and also from me wanting to hide my chest, so I have that habit still in my 30s, and I'm like more confident with my chest area. I mean, I do want at least a reduction or some sort of top surgery, but I think I'm gonna try doing like resistance training first to see if I can get some shrinkage because Body by Daddy, I think they're called on Instagram and probably TikTok, had suggested that, and that's why they look like they do. Yeah, their name is Body by Daddy on Instagram. And they yeah, I mean I think it's she her. They don't have any like pronouns around, but um they she does a lot of like these exercise resumes that she has created for people who are either trans masc. She's kind of dabbled in trans femme stuff, but it's mostly like trans masc and like how to essentially morph your body through exercise in order to look um and essentially have a more affirming body, especially if you are anticipating top surgery and like essentially like what muscle groups you want to work on um in anticipation of that, especially because especially if you are looking for a particular look in general too, because it's like yeah, like the body is definitely moldable, it's very flexible, and um I like her stuff because it's fitness that isn't sort of glamorizing like eating disorder or anything like that. Like I follow like I think three different fitness people who have three different body types, and all of them are very much like, do what is best for your body. Um like if you're trying to eat more protein, do what you can. Have a good relationship with food. Have a good, try to develop a better relationship with your body and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's really encouraging because I'm like, I really don't believe in um, stopping yourself from enjoying food, honestly, just to gain a specific look. I hate the idea of cheat days and stuff like that. I'm like, I, I like food, like food is energy. And like, I wasn't even trying to talk about this. Food is energy, like, but yeah, I'm like, honestly, it's just really cool that you can change your body naturally through exercise and fitness. It does take time. It's not something that is very quick. And I'm like, I do gotta get in the gym just because honestly, like, if you're especially if you're able, it's like being able to move your body in that way can feel really nice. And especially if you're someone who works mostly at a desk all day, you know, working out in some capacity is probably actually really important. And also make sure you get your hip flexors, apparently. Because if you're sitting down all the time, those can get like really locked in. One of my teachers was having like pain in her lower back because she sits down a lot and her hip flexors were like kind of fucked a little bit. Um, and I mean, I guess another thing too with those workout influencers, I guess it's kind of weird or interesting to say that, especially because one of them I know for sure went to school for like a lot of that sort of stuff, like gym, health and fitness and whatnot. But it's like your body can be healthy at any weight. And these people are very like anti fat phobia and stuff like that because it's like you don't unless you're someone's like health professional, you don't know if a person is healthy just based on what they look like. And and I think it's really fucked that people who are fat um are perceived as unhealthy, when it's like someone who's skinny can be a really either a really unhealthy weight or just has unhealthy habits or things like that, and it's like, but they're not being judged because skinny is seen as is the more sought after body type in our society. And I'm like, especially now, I mean, it's kind of wild to say, especially now with the rise of fascism and things like that. It's like we're getting into sort of eugenics areas of like, this is the more desirable body, and if you don't look like this, then we should get rid of you, or something asinine like that. Anyway, life is so fun right now. I am having a great time. I'm like, fucking Christ, I'm 32, and I don't think there I'm like, I feel like there's just been back to back things that have happened that are so different. It's like Y2K is probably the first like notable thing that I remember. And like I vaguely remember Columbine, but I feel like I was too young for that. But I do remember the um aftermath of it. And it's also like in the context of Columbine, this is it's like the beginning of CNN and 24-hour news as we know it now, because before that we didn't get that level of news footage and news like screening. And I think a great movie that sort of not plays with that as an idea, but like sort of explores that of like news um and sensationalism, and like looking for the kind of most fucked up shit to put on your network in order to get views and get people watching. And it's called Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal. When did that come out? Actually, that movie is phenomenal. First of all, and Crawl, not the X-Men character. Although I do love, I love Nightcrawler, the X-Men character as well. Oh God, yeah, it came out in 2014. That's definitely one of those movies that I definitely think about a lot, and like I do need to give it a rewatch. Um, but yeah, like Nightcrawler is definitely something else, and that's one of those things that made Columbine even more of a serious thing, because there was this 24-hour news cycle of people there as it was happening, or not as it was happening, but like actually I would have to look into that. But I do remember distinctly seeing like the helicopter shots of like the school and everything, and like the close-ups and all this stuff. And another movie that is on kind of the flip side of that is We Need to Talk About Kevin, which is based on a book that was written during like Columbine, or like the person who wrote it was inspired by Columbine, and it definitely explores the idea of a mom. It's from the mom's perspective of someone who ends up being a school shooter. If you've never seen We Need to Talk About Kevin, like who wrote it? Lionel Sharvey? No, like okay. Because I was like, wait a minute. This whole time I thought it was written by a woman, and it is. It's just they have kind of a masculine name, but I just I couldn't remember their name. Um, that's another like phenomenal movie, and I kind of hate that. I mean, is it really a spoiler if this is one a movie from 2011 based on a book from 2003? Not really. And I mean, there is build up to the shooting. I'm not gonna say what kind of shooting it is, because that feels kind of spoilery. this is also a really good movie. It does have a young Ezra Miller, and if that non-binary chaotic mess is kind of triggering for you, or on the flip side, Tilda Swinton is in that, and if she's a triggering figure for you, like, don't watch this. It's from 2011. I don't know. Um, I mean, Tilda Swinton is I'm like, it was just weird when she played a character who is Asian in what the hell are those movies? Uh, I'm gonna scream. What is that movie? Doctor Strange. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that was weird for her to do that, and then for her to, I believe she reached out to Margaret Cho asking her if she thought that was okay. That was also weird. That just felt weird. Um, all around, but she was in one of my favorite Tilda Swinton was in one of my favorite vampire movies. I was gonna say What We Do in the Shadows, but she did a cameo in What We Do in the Shadows. But it's called Only Lovers Left Alive. I love that movie. It's so good, and it's an indie film. I'm like, I keep changing topics, but it's an indie film. I love it so so much. It's her and what is his name? Yeah, they came out in 2013. It's her and Tom Hiddleston who are in this, and it's by Jim Jarmusch, which I kind of like to think of as a um. mm, he's kind of like David Lynch, but not really. Like he also is like on the uh on the fringes of like filmmaking and makes like interesting movies. Um Obviously he's not as like popular as David Lynch. As in like I feel like people don't I don't think I've ever heard anyone bring up his name, honestly. But I'm like I fucking love Only Lovers Left Alive. Like that is one of my favorite vampire movies. Aside from Sinners, of course. I love Sinners. That's a very different vampire movie, but like of like the sort of traditional vampire as main character, not vampires monster. Because they are, I mean, they are monsters, but it's still just like it's about a vampire couple and them sort of coming back and like Tom Hiddleston is playing this emo musician vampire who's like ultra depressed. He carries like a gun with like a wooden bullet that he got crafted because, he's suicidal because he's emo. But I love this movie. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It's also created by Jim Jarmusch. Jarmusch. I'm like, am I pronouncing his name right? But I do feel like I have strayed too far from the sun and need to come back to talking about Lurker. But yeah, to get back into Lurker, like Jesus Christ. Now that I'm doing like these shorts where I'm talking about doing really quick film reviews, if somebody came to listen to me yap about this, I'd be like, what the hell are they doing? The hell is going on? I don't know. I don't care, okay? This has kind of a structure. I just allow myself to kind of rant and go, I mean, I don't have a script. I think that's the main thing, but for me, because I'm not an actor, I am not really good at reading off a script. It doesn't feel natural to me. But yeah, getting back into Lurker. Matthew, played by Theodore Pellerin, is kind of obsessed. He's a big fan of Oliver. But Oliver doesn't know this, and he works at this clothing store with I guess his friend Jamie, played by Sunny Suljic, and they're just working. It's kind of the beginning of the movie, and Oliver comes in, I believe, with Bowen, who is played by Felix, who's actually a in real life musician. He's part of a rap duo called Paris, Texas, which is awesome. And they're just, I'm like, does he come in with Felix? He comes in with someone from his entourage, which we will later kind of meet more of that work for him, I guess. His entourage is interesting. But yeah, he comes in and Matty Matt is, he's starstruck, of course. Jamie is more outwardly starstruck at seeing Oliver there. And Matthew decides to turn on some music and play, I forgot what the song is, but he plays a song and Oliver lights up and is just like, "Oh my god, who put this on?" It's not Oliver's music, of course, because Matt doesn't operate like that. He doesn't want to seem like he's a fan. But we later find out that the song he chose is something that Matt, not Matt, is something that Oliver has vocalized, at least through blogs and posting, that he loves it. He loves the song. And it's not necessarily like obscure or anything. It's just that it is like an older song, and Oliver's so excited that someone would have played it, and he even talks to the one person in his entourage like, "This is the thing that I was telling you about. You didn't know what it was. I can't believe this one guy did. And hey, you wanna see me perform?" He's talking Oliver, who played by Archie, which it's funny to say his name because I have a cat named Archibald slash Archie slash Arch. And I was just like, "Oh wait, his name is Archie. Let me not get my cat confused when I say his real name, because then my cat's gonna be like, meow." Or honestly, just perk his head up, because he'll just be like, "Oh, you called me. What's up?" Both my cats respond to their names, which is adorable. So I don't even, God, I forgot how to make the sound. I don't even do that to them. They just respond by their names. And if they don't, I know they're ignoring me on purpose, because they do. And I'm like, "Oh, so you know you're doing something bad and you are trying to annoy me right now." But anyway, so Oliver has this British accent. I mean, Archie has a British accent and is British in the movie. So I'm like, whenever I am talking about what he's saying, just know he's also saying it in a British accent. And I'm really just not good at accents. So I won't try to imitate him. So yeah, Oliver invites Matt to go see him perform. And then we see sort of the beginning of we actually okay, it's so funny because he gets invited to the green room and everything. He gets invited backstage, and this is when we run into the rest of the entourage and Zach Fox specifically. And he's so fucking funny. My friend was able to meet him, and apparently he just is like that. Like he's just this guy. And the first thing that he says to Matt is just like, "Oh, so you're gonna come in here and not take your pants off?" And then it calls back it pulls back and we see that everyone in there, at least the guys, have their pants pulled down. and so then Matt pulls his pants out and then Zach Fox's character, Sweat, I guess, Sweet Sweat. It's just like, "Oh, so you're gonna just listen to a grown man who tells you to pull your pants down?" And then so Matt pulls his pants back up and and then Zach Fox is just like, "So wait, now you're pulling your pants back up? We're doing this in memoriam to our gay friend who died. Like, you literally are saying fuck you to our friend who passed away." And then Matt kind of gets all like a little weird about it and he just pulls down everything. And then Zach Fox is like, I was just playing with you, man. Like, I like him. He do what I say. And that's kind of the beginning of this sort of back and forth that and kind of infighting in a way of Oliver's entourage because it's it's so interesting and Matt kind of mentions this later on, but he does say that everyone in this entourage is essentially like him. He just wants it more. Like all of these people are lurkers and they are it's almost it's almost parasitic in a way. Like they I would say parasitic, but as I'm talking about it, I'm like thinking about it and it's like what kind of ends up happening later on with Matt and Oliver is that it becomes symbiotic where yes, Matt is um kind of a he's latched onto Oliver and is almost in this parasitic relationship with him like the other lurkers. But turns out Oliver also kind of needs Matt. He kind of needs Matt because Matt is able to push him in such a way that no one else around him is able to push him. And I'm kind of skipped to the ending, but like in the end, we see this time skip where Matt is still around Oliver and Oliver has won Grammys. They're screening the it's a screening of Matt's documentary of the last few years or whatever that he was developing. And yeah, it's pretty wild. And how we get there is wild. And it was seeing it in theaters too, because I was just like, oh my God, I think all the K-pop stans are gonna just come out of this and be like, oh my God, I can do it too. I can be this. And then other people were like, is the moral, well, like, what is the moral of the story? I'm confusion to lurk and that's kind of it. You're gonna get what you want, I guess. And honestly, I'm like, this isn't a movie that it's morally gray. Like this isn't a movie that necessarily has a happy ending. There isn't a moral to the story. It's not structured in that way where you're supposed to learn a lesson from this. Like it is a psychological thriller. And in the end, the quote unquote bad person gets what they want. And that's why I'm saying it's like kind of a symbiotic relationship because again, Oliver kind of needs him and was able to get pushed to win a Grammy. Like it's wild. I mean, we don't see the Grammy or anything, but yeah, so like what sort of happens is like Shay, played by Havana Rose Liu, who we know from Bottoms, love Bottoms. Shay realizes what kind of person Matt is and realizes that he's trying to stay around Oliver. And she's like, be useful, and then he'll keep you around. You know, she like gives him an in. And so he finds like a old camcorder and starts recording. And Oliver's like, oh, yeah, are you, a videographer or whatever? And Noah, played by Daniel Zalgadar, Zalgadri, sorry, I messed up your name. Noah, who's already there, being the videographer, cinematographer, like, listen, those are those are kind of the same thing. Being the videographer and like the editor and everything like that. He's like, who the fuck is this? Because nobody's taking my spot. And he's just like, do you know how to use Premiere? Do you know how to use a camera? And Matt was kind of being useless. It's like, who the fuck are you and why are you here? And you're not going to replace me, is what Noah was thinking. So then Matt gets obsessed with trying to learn Premiere on his own, trying to figure out cameras on his own, and he self sabotages. No, I said self sabotages. He sabotages Noah by leaving the extra batteries for his camera away while they're shooting a music video for Oliver's new single. And what I love about this movie is that it is part movie, it's part musical, in that there are songs that were created for this movie. And Archie, in characters, Oliver is singing them. And I believe Rex Orange County did a few of the demos for the music. Like I said earlier, much earlier, because I got distracted, Kenny Beats did like the music production on this, and he's someone who's worked with artists, so it's like he knew what he was doing. And looking at one of the interviews from the cast and crew, Alex Russell and Archie were talking about how this this the music and framing was kind of inspired of like 2018 Dojen, Rex Orange County, Brockhampton, sort of post Frank Ocean, Steve Lacy, Dome Fick. And it's like if you liked any of the music in the movie, listening to those artists is basically gonna give you kind of the same vibe. And and I'm like, oh, I really, really like the music, and I love the performances done in the movie as well. And I found out that apparently Zach Fox he had thrown a party and was like, hey, my friend is shooting a film. If you guys could be like the extras essentially in this in the movie. And they just brought out Archie in character. They changed his outfits a few times and shot these scenes. Also, this movie was shot in 16 millimeter, which I love film, and it gives it this sort of like warm, rich tone to it that again, like digital. And like, of course, you can make digital look like that, but there's something more authentic about just film stock. But yeah, so like all of the concert shots were just shot during this Zach Fox party, which is why the crowd looks more natural, which is why the performance feels more natural. And I think they were actually just playing the music during these shots as well. So it's like the audience is actually listening to music rather than what usually happens during a scene like that of an audience dancing to the sound of nothing and the audio's added in later. And so Matt eventually tries to make himself more important, essentially, so he can stay around Oliver by making himself more useful. By yeah, I was like, I forgot what I was saying. I paused and went on a whole journey doing something else. By again learning Premiere and wanting to develop that documentary for Oliver and shit like that. And he even sets up these security cameras throughout the house to get sort of like B-roll and stuff. And whew, which was I was like, did you ask about this beforehand? And then of course my Archie is meowing because he wants to eat dinner, and I usually give him dinner an hour from now. I don't know. Yes, I do. I was like, wait, why did talking about my cat remind me of Folsom Street Fair? And it's because he's my pet, but also pet play. I'm like, I'm so jealous. I'm not jealous really, but Folsom Street Fair is today because I'm recording this on a Sunday, and I'm like, I just I need my cute clothes because I'll look cute when I go to Folsom Street Fair, and I want to potentially meet a partner or something, or try to go to a play party or something. But I want to dress the part. I don't want to look like I'm a tourist in the kink community. I'm like, no, I've been about this life. No. But I was just like, I've been so out of the loop and like with COVID and everything. Cause I'm like, I distinctly remember in 2020, I was like, I'm gonna I'm gonna try to go out more. I want to meet people. I want to try to date. And then lockdown, a pandemic, ongoing pandemic. It's not like it's over. I am a COVID conscious person. I do still mask when I can. Um, and unfortunately, it does feel like for people who are COVID conscious that we kind of have to just continue doing what we're doing and but also try to live our lives, I guess, because I'm like I've still been going to concerts, but I'm like fully masked and stuff. I haven't really tried to date or anything as of late. I'm like I don't really want to get an app. Like the app, like I tried the apps before, and those were kind of ugh. And I do want someone who is um kinky, um, but it's also like so it's like I wouldn't be able to go on like a normal app, but FetLife is so dead. I'm like, I hope who's ever listening to this is 18 and up. Yeah, FetLife is so dead. I did hear about an app specific for kinky people, but I don't know. I'm also like, I got a lot of shit going on, like with work and everything. I don't really have time for a partner right now. I think I would make time for the right person, but I mean, that's also like kind of a weird thing of like, oh yeah, a person just stumbled into my life and now I'm gonna make time for them. It's like that feels weird too. Like I can't just expect that to just happen. Like things don't just happen to you like that. You gotta put yourself out there as well. So I'm like, I think I will maybe try to intentionally, at least towards the universe, be like, I am looking for a partnership. And yeah, like ultimately I do want partnership, even if I am someone I mean it is funny to be someone who is ace, demisexual, and also kink. I'm like I don't want to talk too much about the stuff I'm into, but I do want someone who is submissive, and that should be enough for you to use your imagination, right? Don't ask ChatGPT what that means. You can look it up. Um, yeah. But what was the fuck was I talking about? Anyway, I got derailed again. I'm like, if you're a fan of me, you probably love the derailments and want me to yapper on about this, but I'm like, I mean, this is how I talk too in general. Like, if I'm talking about a subject that I love, I will go on tangents because I'm like, I get excited. And I'm like, oh, I need to bring up this other thing. So this is kind of the closest version of myself online, I guess. I'm like, it's very interesting. I somehow, this is like what, my 24th episode? And these are more or less an hour long. So it's like this whole day's worth of me just yapping. And I'm like, good for you guys. You can you can take this all in and experience me, a side of me, because this isn't me fully. This is just me talking about a subject that I like. I just remembered that I got a Got 7 light stick today because I went to this K-pop store locally and I'm like, I haven't been to this one, been to a different one. And I wanted to pick up a gift for my friend whose birthday is coming up. And I was like, do you have this album? It was specifically an Extraordinary Heroes album. And they only had Beautiful Minds and not Living Free. Living the other one. And apparently this is one of their favorite albums anyway, and they didn't have it, and I was like, yes. Did I also get another Jackson Wang International album because I wanted to see if I could get any other posters or photo cards? Yes. And I'm gonna stop at 3 because I did get 2 other posters, and I'm like, thank you. Like, how the fuck did I end up? I'm like, I must have got the first batch of these because I ended up getting. I somehow ended up getting two of the same posters, but the photo cards were different against the two albums. And then the third album, the I got two of the same photo cards. One of the photo cards was new, and then the posters were different. And I'm like, that's all I wanted. I just wanted something else. And I'm probably gonna give away the honestly, do I need to keep all three of these? I don't necessarily need to keep all three of these, but mm, I don't know. Three is a good number. I like odd numbers. So three's my favorite, five's my favorite. I love seven. Love seven. One is a good number too. I'm like, I could have just left it at one, but how did that even go? How did I? Okay, I ended up getting two because I pre-ordered it from a local K-pop store, and then the second one came from me throwing my like throwing my hat in the pool for the video call that he was doing through Music Planet because I was like, oh yeah, whatever, I'll try for it. But I wasn't gonna buy like thousands of fucking albums. One, because I'm not made of money, and two, I was like, I just want to leave this up to chance. I'm not gonna try that hard. And I ran into a video of someone who does buy a bunch of albums to get the video calls or whatnot. And I guess he just runs a shop where he just sells the stuff and puts whatever photo cards and whatnot that the person wants together. And I'm like, that's kind of cool, I guess. I would hope that um, because he's open to everything. So I'm like, I hope it would be sold at a lesser rate so he can get some of his money back. But I'm not gonna, tell people how to run a business. Kind of interesting to think of that as a business because he didn't make any of the albums or the music or anything, but I digress. Anyway, so Oliver somehow. Oh, wait, no, no. This is what happens. There's a house party at Oliver's house. Oliver's house is also where his entourage basically lives. Matt doesn't live there yet. He still lives with his grandma, who he's very rude to. I don't like that he's rude to his grandma. I'm like, your grandma is nice enough to let you live here, probably rent free. Especially because you quit your job just to have more time around Oliver. Like, fuck you. That was that was the thing that made me hate him. I was like, why are you so rude to this old woman? Like, leave her alone. Like, stop it. Um, also just like I just hate people that are mean. Um, mean to someone who is overall sweet. I'm like, be mean to mean people. Like, do that, punch nice Nazis or whatever. Like, do that. But, um, like, it's a reason I wasn't able to watch Courage the Cowardly Dog growing up because I hated how mean Eustace was to Courage. And I'm like, Courage is risking his life to save you guys against these supernatural entities, and you don't know that, and you don't appreciate him, and you're yelling at him. And I'm like, this is me as a child trying to watch the show because I'm like, I love supernatural. I currently love supernatural stuff. Loved it so much as a child, but I could not watch this show because of how Eustace was to Courage, not because of how scary or spooky it was. It's very spoopy, hilarious. Um, and I am very excited for this movie coming out called Good Boy, which is basically Courage the Cowardly Dog, but live action. And the dog is so, so cute. The dog is so cute. But it is from the dog's perspective and how it is protecting its owners from supernatural entities. And I'm like, yes. Also, I love the marketing or I love the current marketing because I follow Shutter. I think Shutter is the distribution for them. And they had posted like, we've heard you. The dog doesn't die. We swear. And especially after talking about fear and how that dog does die. Um, it's really nice to know that the dog won't die in the end because I'm like, especially if it's from the perspective of the dog, God, you would hope. I'm like, the dog can be in danger or whatever, but as long as in the end it gets through everything, I am fine. That's all I need. That's all I wanted. But getting back to Lurker, Matthew invites Jamie, who was his coworker. They eventually become coworkers again, but I'll get there. He invites his coworker over to Oliver's house party, and then Oliver's like, "Oh, what you're wearing is really sick." And Jamie's just like, "Oh yeah, I made this or whatever," trying to play it cool. And my cat is doing something next to me. This is literally Archie doing something. He's like trying to climb through something. I have some like stuff over here, and he's like, I need to climb. And all I see is his like back legs extended, and I don't see the front part of him. He looks wild right now. Um, and of course, Oliver's like, oh yeah, no, you should come here and like be around and like do some custom clothing for me. And Jamie's just like, "Oh hell yeah, brother!" I mean, he doesn't he doesn't say that at all, but he's very excited. And Matt is fucking pissed because he's just like, "There can only be one. I'm not about to let you lurk around. It's only me. I know what's good for Oliver." And he's like pissed. I'm just like, he's doing something completely different from you. You could just let it be, but Shay is definitely clocking all this too, though, because what happens is they fly out to London, and Shay tells Matt specifically, "You need to tell immigrate. Is it immigration? It's basically TSA. I forget what it's called, but when you're traveling, you talk to the TSA agent. Whenever you leave the country, go to a new country, you tell the TSA agent why you're there." And she told Matt specifically, because Jamie was next to him, asleep. She tells Matt to tell the TSA agents that y'all are there for travel and a vacation, and you're only there for a few days. You're not there to do what they were actually going to do, which is doing shoots and stuff for Oliver because she didn't have work visas ready for them. It was only work visas for the main crew. And so yeah, Matt's just like, yeah, totally, yeah, yeah, yeah. And they get out of the plane, and he of course doesn't tell Jamie this, and we see Matt tell the TSA agent, yeah, like, oh, I'm just on vacation. And then we see Matt looking at Jamie as he's telling the TSA agent the truth, quote unquote, and he gets taken, essentially. And I'm like, honestly, we're just assuming that that's what happened because they all kind of show up, and they show up to like the hotel they're staying at, and I want to say either Shay or Zach Fox's character, somebody, is just like, "Oh, what happened to your boy?" And Matt's just like, "Oh, I thought he was riding with you guys. Is he not here?" And Shay rolls her eyes and is just like, "Oh, this motherfucker." And they show up to the shoot, and Shay shows up with Jamie because she's able to save him or whatever. And again, Matt is fucking pissed. And this is when the scene that happens here is when we see him snap because they're trying to do some like shoot or whatever for like a magazine cover. Noah is striking out and not having good ideas. Matt is also striking out, and Oliver's not liking these ideas either. And Jamie's like, "Oh, what if I do da da da?" And Oliver's like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, I like this. I like this." Matt's fucking pissed, and he pulls out his camcorder because this is again. Oh, I don't think I explained this actually. This is the thing that made Oliver initially want Matt on board with no. It made Oliver on board with Matt being around and recording because he had shot just like some, you can consider it B-roll of like Oliver and one of his friends biking and like they're running into these trash bins. And this is like a very natural, not composed thing to happen, very candid. And he showed it to Oliver because Oliver was looking to add something to a video or whatever. And Oliver's like, oh, I love this. And this is how Matt gets the documentary opportunity. And so he pulls out his trusty camcorder and he's like, oh, I'm recording, while Jamie is up this ladder trying to take pictures. And he's recording, all happy, excited, laughing, and all this stuff, and runs into the ladder that Jamie is on. And I was like, oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate this so much. Jamie falls, and Matt is still laughing. Everybody's just like, what the fuck's going on? Whatever. And it just switches to Matt waking up. Hotel is empty. Everybody's gone. And he got abandoned in London because they were like, we don't want to fuck with you. And so, and it's crazy too because they don't leave a plane ticket for him to return or anything like that. He's just abandoned in London. He has to call his grandma to send him money in order for him to come back because again, he's not fucking working. I don't think Oliver paid any of these people. Like I don't like he just fucking abandoned his whole life just to be around this man. And that's like a whole other oh wow, I sound much louder. I'm getting used to this new mic. But yeah, that's like a whole level to it too, because it was just like, is his obsession with Oliver, is it coming from like a homoerotic, like he's obsessed with him because he wants to be with him romantically type of thing? And the movie later explores that as well. And I'm like, I keep saying I will get to that. But so Matt's fucking pissed even more so. And it's like, we already know what he does when he's pissed, which is essentially, in a cowardly way, incite violence against someone. So, remember, he set up these security cameras, right? He decides to go back to work, and we do see Jamie still working there. His nose is like kind of fucked. I think he's in a brace or something. And also at this point, he's getting recognized on the street because Oliver posts him on his Instagram. And what happens is Matt runs into some fans of Oliver's, who are just like, oh, we see you on Oliver's Instagram, and like, oh, so jealous, all this stuff, fangirls. They're also 15 and 16. And I was like, "Oh, what's gonna happen here? I don't like this. I don't like this." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I can totally get you like backstage passes or whatever." And I don't know how the actually I do know how the fuck he does it because he knows the door person, and he's like, "Oh, I need some passes for Oliver's thing." Gets the passes, hands it to the girls. I want to say no, no, no. We see it's like implied, but we see, and I mean implied, what Oliver does to the girls. But we see Matt, and it's through clips, we see Matt smashing up some sort of pills and putting it in alcohol and leaving the alcohol in the backstage, in the green room. And we see Oliver interact with the girls. And they presumably make it back home to Oliver's house. And he more than likely sleeps with them. He sleeps with these girls. He doesn't know that they're underage. They might have lied about it. I'm not entirely sure. We don't get all the information, but we do see Oliver and Shay look at a video that Matt sent to them of Oliver being with these girls. And Shay's like, this is bad. They're 15, 16. This is awful. And so now they invite Matt back because they're like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? And Matt's just like, I just want to shoot the documentary. And Oliver's like, what? Like, that's all you want? Like, for real? And Oliver kind of plans to sort of try to delete the footage off of Matt's hard drive and everything by sneaking into Matt's room because now Matt has a room in the house. Look at that. And he tries to sneak in while Matt's asleep. And Matt's like, what are you doing? And Oliver's like, oh, watching you sleep. And Oliver, thinking that the obsession is more homoerotic or whatever, tries to make out, or this was weird. This was weird. Really, really weird. Oliver tries to make out with Matt. Matt's like, he fucking, he, he carves him and it's just like, haha, we should wrestle. And starts like laughing and wrestling Oliver, and Oliver's confused. Us as an audience was confused because again, it's like, what is this? Why are you so obsessed with this man? And he's like, no, I'm just a fan. I just want you to reach your full potential. I just want to be in your life and shoot this documentary about you. I'm not sexually attracted to you. I don't want you in that way. And or like that's implied and it's like this is weird. And it we had seen Oliver um essentially have a threesome. Like we didn't see the threesome, but we saw him in his bedroom with a man and a woman. So it's like we know that he swings that way. And the character, not the character, the actor Archie, in Saltburn, he's also like presumed to be gay. So it's like we know that Archie as an actor does play these like queer characters. So, if he was that way, um or like he is fine playing a queer character, so we would have seen him try to, if Matt was that way, I should say, then it would have been something that we would have seen coming. No, what the fuck am I saying? It felt like it was being written where Matt was doing this because he had romantic feelings or sexual feelings towards Oliver. And because we had seen Oliver be someone who is attracted to men and women, and the actor is someone who's played a gay character or just a queer character in general before, that ultimately could have been the route they went with this. But it was interesting to see them be like, like Matt be like, no homo, I just want to wrestle you, bro. It's just like, what the fuck's going on? And so then it's kind of just like, what is the character motivation behind this guy? It was weird. I didn't, I, like at that point, it was definitely a turning point where I was just like, I don't really know where this movie's going. Like, I don't understand fully. And so we get this scene where Oliver is in the booth with Bowen, again played by Felix, who is a part of Paris, Texas, and the rap duo. And Oliver keeps doing these takes and everything, and Matt's also there. And he's like, that wasn't good enough. We need to do it again. And Matt tells Bowen to leave just so he can have a one-on-one with Oliver. And it's so interesting because the dynamics are shifting. Everybody's on eggshells and sort of listening to what Matt wants because they know that Matt is kind of in control of the situation now. Like Oliver is who he is, but they're just following along to how Oliver is behaving, so they don't want to upset Matt because Oliver is in this situation where he doesn't want to do anything that Matt doesn't want him to do because he's getting blackmailed by him. Right? It's like, oh my God, the dynamics have shifted. And now even Jamie comes around still, but now he's doing what Matt was initially doing when he showed up at Oliver's house, which is essentially like an unpaid maid and cleaning up, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, and all this stuff. And so Matt talks to Oliver and he's like, I just want you to be essentially the best version of yourself. Like, I want this to be good. And like this, it's kind of like this weirdly sort of not heartwarming, but it's like I think about celebrity and I think about musicians who can become sort of larger than life, right? And Oliver being that kind of musician, to have someone basically say, I see you, and I want you to be better. And what you're doing right now is not good. Because again, Oliver was surrounded by all these yes men that want him to succeed, but they also want to be a part of that success because they want to get the residual like earnings of it. And so Oliver kind of just starts crying, and it's almost as if he's being like seen for who he is for the first time. And I can't remember. No, I think right after this, he we see them trying to shoot the the song that I was singing in the beginning, music video for that, Love and Obsession, and we were zoomed in on Oliver's face and he's singing this, but he's flinching. We zoom out and we realize he's being shot by all these paintballs and it's really dramatic. And then Matt's just like, let's do it again. And again, we pull in again and we're seeing Oliver flinching and all this stuff. And I'm like, it's kind of funny listening to the video because there is a lyric video, but there's not like the full version of this paintball music video. And everybody's just like, I want the paintball version. Um, and man, like that's what a fucking scene, bro. And right after this, they had also been like kind of touring around. They were all like living on this tour bus essentially and moving around and stuff. And we get this scene where Matt is dragged out of the bus and Zach Fox punches him in the face and he's getting beat the fuck up by the entourage because again, like at this point I think Oliver's tired of his shit. He doesn't give a fuck. Matt is getting beat up. Oliver decides to get the hard drive and delete the footage that is essentially being used to blackmail him. But before he does that, he looks at the Love and Obsession music video footage that Matt was able to get. Or, like, that's my assumption. He could have also just seen a more finished version of that music video. And he's watching it and he's getting emotional because he's like, fuck, this is really good. Fuck. This person understands what I'm trying to do. And it cuts to a time jump. And we see Oliver and Matt on stage. And we see that at this point, Oliver's won Grammys. Matt's presenting his documentary that he wanted to spend a few years making, which is another reason he got beat the fuck up because Oliver's like, I can't take this. I can't take this anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it. He didn't even want to fuck me. He wanted to fuck next to me, which was fucking, that was a wild scene. That was a wild scene of Oliver opening the door and Matt's like, I got a girl for you. I got a girl for me. We're in this double hotel room. I want you to have sex with her. I'm gonna have sex with this woman and I'm gonna look at you while it's happening. It's like, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, we like I said earlier, we see that Matt just presented his documentary. Oliver is a Grammy winning artist at this point. The entourage still exists, the other lurkers still exist in the audience watching this happen. And Matt is asked an audience question by someone who is also like a um, videographer. And he's just like, how do I get where you are? How do I become you, essentially? And Matt, being his awkward self, starts to stutter and stammer, and the movie ends. And I was just like, what a fucking movie, man. I'm like, literally, people who. Initially, I was thinking like people who are like obsessed with K pop stars or just musicians in general could come out of this thinking that their parasocial relationship with their favorite artist could end up in such a way where they could support their favorite artist in the same way that this person did. And it's like, no, it's not, that's not really what happened. And it's also like we have this sort of morally gray um characters, like Oliver wasn't like fully good. He was manipulating these people into being around him. He also slept with those like underage girls, and even though that was a situation that he was kind of put in, like they ended up being drugged because of Matt, and Matt supplied like it's weird. It was a weird setup and everything, but it's like he wasn't being aware and cautious. It's like, don't fuck fangirls, man. Like, what? Especially if they look young as shit. Like, think, think. Um, but yeah, it's like Oliver, kind of. It seemed like he liked the attention, but especially because he's allowing these people to be in his life, but they're also useful, right? That's why they're in his life because they add to his artistry and they help him in a way. And that's why, again, I'm like, he isn't necessarily like this holier than thou um musician artist who's just like good and giving and all this stuff. It's like there's a level of manipulation on his part too. And I honestly really, really enjoyed the movie. The music was, I really liked the music. There were some scenes where it was music video, an actual like drama and movie. And again, I do really like the me and my roommate we came out of that and we're like, what's the difference between love and obsession? Because we were trying to do like more of a masculine sounding voice or whatever. Trying to get the cadence that Archie does it as Oliver. Because that song is a fucking bop. It's like it's really catchy. And I was and honestly, this movie like sat with me after the fact too, because yeah, I don't know, it was just like that ending was just so wild that I really I really didn't expect it at all. I was just like, because I just assumed they were gonna honestly kick Matt's ass and just leave him there and then kind of move on with his life. I didn't expect it to like do that sort of turn where he keeps him around. And I was also kind of thinking of like a keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer sort of ending where he's like, yes, this person is blackmailing me. He's not exactly my friend, but he does understand my vision and he does push me in a way that the other people around him don't, and that's why he's keeping him around. Is honestly how I feel. But yeah. What a movie. I think it'll probably be on Movie. Like it sucks. Kind of hard to recommend movies that aren't really on streaming platforms like that or like more easily accessible. That's like one of the reasons I wanted to start the Patreon where it's essentially going to be a film club where I do screenings um with people who like pay into it. I mean, I wouldn't I think I wanted to make the monthly thing like $7 or something. Like I definitely wanted to be a reasonably priced thing, and I think I wanted to. I mean, I have it set up. I'm saying I think it is set up. It does exist. It's patreon.com/V Noirs Film Club. Nobody's a part of it as of yet, but I do want to essentially have a group viewing of different movies. If you become a patron, you would vote per month on like what movie to watch, and then I would find a way. Like the movies to vote on would be something I can either access through streaming or have like the DVD or something, and then they would be recorded and only viewed through the Patreon. I would probably do whenever I get YouTube memberships or whatever. I'd probably have like it would be together or something like that. I'm not sure how that works. It would probably be a little harder to do YouTube membership and also Patreon as a movie streaming, or I don't know. Because now I'm kind of thinking it through, and I'm like, I could technically have. Oh, I could do it where people vote through Patreon, people vote through YouTube, and the combined votes would determine what movie both groups watch, and then I watch the movie twice, maybe? Or I do one big um Discord stream of the movie and then record the stream, and then whoever missed the live stream of the movie would have access to it through Patreon or YouTube. But yeah, I'm like, that sounds fun. And I'm like, I do want people to be able to access stuff that's like harder to find or be introduced to things that they would have never heard of. Because I'm like, there's so many movies. There's so many movies. And I'm like, I don't think I've watched enough movies, and watch I've seen a fair amount of movies. I want to see more. There's a lot of older movies that I haven't really watched. I'm like, I have an ongoing list. Oh my God, I have so many movies that I need to watch. But like this, I think on my Instagram, because now you can share, I shared this reel that was basically like, oh, we should watch a movie from your list. And the person's just like, the stars need to be aligned and I need to be in the right mood to watch whatever's on the list. A movie that I did want to watch as a part of, I wanted it to be the first one. I mean, we'll see what happens in October. Um, but I wanted the first one to be Rocky Horror Picture Show, especially because this year, I think 2 days ago or yesterday is the 50th anniversary of it. And I want to do like a fun thing where I do the screening. There won't be the shadow cast because that's not how would I do that? I would have to be there and then record it. But I wanted to do oh, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, Rocky Horror Picture Show. It is it's 50 years old now, but it was a midnight movie. Like it was screened at midnight because it was kind of like a rated X movie, which is what used to be rated R. And it became this sort of cult classic. I mean, movies don't get screened at midnight anymore, but the run for this does get streamed. I keep wanting to say streamed, screened at like 11:30 p.m. I think that's at least how I've seen it. And essentially, what happens is people come dressed as the different characters. You can come on stage if you're a virgin. That's what it's called when you haven't seen the movie, and you get a red V written on you somewhere. to represent Virgin. And what happens is the movie is screened, but in front of the screen is a cast of people who are dressed like the characters throughout the movie that basically do a run of the movie in front of the screen, which can be really jarring if you've never seen the movie and you've never seen done the shadow cast part. But what's also even more jarring is that there are different things that are shouted at the screen through out the audience, usually by either the shadowcast people who go into the crowd, or like maybe even the theater workers, if especially if it's like a smaller theater, like an indie theater instead of like AMC or Regal or something. And there you can throw things at the screen because there's different points. And I kind of wanted to, at least not the shadow cast, but the part about throwing stuff and things being yelled at the screen. Um, I wanted to sort of simulate that with my audience whenever I have an audience. um, but yeah, that would be the plan because I would also want to, especially through Patreon, because I don't know if you can do that with YouTube membership, but especially with Patreon, I would want to mail off things that can be thrown at the screen. There's like a toilet paper roll shot that like one of the characters says "Great Scott" and you throw the roll in the air, because Scott toilet tissue. Um which is really fun, but I'm like I wouldn't actually send a whole roll. I would probably send a tiny roll or something different. I don't know. It's something I want to do, and I think it would be fun, and it's in line with me making a podcast. That's me talking about movies that I've watched and stuff. And Lurker's still in very much the thriller, psychological thriller, horror category because I'm, again, talking about movies that are horror gearing up for Halloween. I'm like, ooh, I do want to talk about other stuff at some point, but I do have also a list of things that I want to talk about. And Good Boy is coming out Friday the 3rd, which is probably when this episode comes out. So maybe next week I'll talk about that. We'll see if I see it. We'll see. But yeah, that should be all. Um, Check out my archive at NWWITA pod.com. I had to think about it. Um, Follow me on Instagram at V underscore noir underscore. So this is when I would be looking at something. The few times that I would actually be looking at something. And so I'm like, damn, do I wanna cut this too? Um, I have a TikTok that I don't really post on, V underscore noir, and that's noir with an E at the end. Um, I haven't streamed on Twitch in a minute, but because I've been taking a break. But I do have a Twitch that's V underscore noir. And yeah, I'll chat with you guys next time. Bye.